Hey guys, and welcome back to another portion of my declutter series for 2021. Today we're focusing on powders. So this is going to be like setting powders, under eye powders, things like that. You can see I don't have a whole ton of them because I've actually been getting rid of some of them. I gave them to my sister and to a neighbor just because loose powders is something that I know I don't use. My fantasy self loves loose powders clearly because I buy them like crazy, but my actual self just does not use them. So I want to only keep like a handful of them and then just get rid of the rest. Pressed powders, on the other hand, I do use those more frequently. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the loose powders. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna go ahead and get rid of the Cover FX one. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, which I don't tend to love all over my face, sometimes under my eyes, but not all over my face. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. These two CoverGirl ones, they're just not as good quality, I would say, as some of the higher end pressed powders. They're finely milled and they're soft, but they don't last as long, I've noticed, on like humid days here in the South. So if I'm gonna use a loose powder, I'm gonna reach for one that lasts a little bit longer on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the CoverGirl ones. This Marc Jacobs one, I've tried to make myself love it and I just don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. This is like the coconut one or something like that. It sucks because it was expensive and I bought it full price. I didn't get it at TJ Maxx or anything like that. This Patrick Star one, so this was when Patrick Star collabed with MAC. It is really good. I haven't had a chance to use it a whole ton. I know it's meant mostly for like baking powder, and I don't bake my face like at all anymore. That is definitely a fantasy self thing. But this is like a baking powder and it's kind of like the only one that I have left in my collection. So I don't know, let's see. So I have the MAC one. I have this Fenty Beauty Butter. This is kind of a newer one. This I bought probably in the past year, like when it first came out. The packaging on this one is just like ridiculously humongous. So there's that. I have both of the Too Faced ones, which I actually do really like a lot. Typically when I'm reaching for a loose powder, it's the Too Faced Peach one. That's honestly usually the one I grab for. So there's those, and then the regular one is good too. It's just not quite as mattifying. This one is brand spanking new. I just got it in my Trend Mood box, so I'm definitely going to keep it so I can at least try it. It's by Tatcha. I haven't even used it, not even once. There's still a seal on it. So this Huda Beauty one is really good. It has a very, very strong scent to it. Like a very strong floral scent to it, which I don't love, but I don't hate it either. This Hourglass one is really good for under my eyes. It's just such an unrealistic package to keep for a simple under eye powder. Like, I love Hourglass products. I love their pressed powders a ton. So it's no surprise that I love the loose powder. It's just this packaging is huge. And this is my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. It's an under eye powder. Definitely gonna keep this. I think I'm gonna get rid of the MAC and Patrick Star. Can't decide on the Fenty and the Huda and the Hourglass. Keeping 6 isn't horrible, but I know that that's more than I will probably ever use in my entire lifetime. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep those, but I just don't wanna force myself to get rid of stuff just because, you know? So let's look at pressed powders really quick. I use almost all of these, so I don't think I'm gonna get rid of any of them. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this Too Faced one. It is like a peach tint, and it says it goes on translucent, but I disagree. I do not think it goes on translucent. I think there's definitely a pink, like a peachy tint to it. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Charlotte Tilbury one is great. This is just a backup of that. Here's some Hourglass palettes I have right here. And then my number 7 powder. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Or yeah, is that what it's called? Yeah. I actually had this in my foundation drawer. I thought it was a foundation, but it's one of their setting powders and it's brand new. I literally just took it out of the box. So I think if this was like a used product that I had had forever, I would probably go ahead and get rid of it. but because it's brand new, I do want to at least use it a little bit before I go ahead and get rid of it. And then this is my NARS pressed powder. This is great for setting your under eyes. You can see I've hit pan. I use this all the time and I've repurchased it. I think this is the third one that I've had of that. This Kosas one is fairly new to me, so I don't want to get rid of it quite yet, but this is one that I could possibly see myself getting rid of in the future, simply because the color is wrong for me. I should have got a different color, but it works well, you know, for now. And then of course Charlotte Tilbury, we've already talked about. It's my favorite. This one's almost gone, so I have this one here. I use this for all over my face and under my eyes. I use it on my wedding day. It's a great setting powder. This number 7 is a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, so I kind of had it to compare. I do like the number 7 one. However, I rarely reach for the number 7 over the Charlotte Tilbury. And because I have a backup of the Charlotte Tilbury, I can't see myself reaching for the number 7 like anytime soon. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to give it to like a sister or something so that they can use it, you know, because by the time I get around to it, it's gonna go bad. And that's the last thing I want. I think I'm gonna see if my sister wants this. If not, I'll hang on to it because it is a really good powder. I mean, I included it in my 2020 favorites, or was it 2019 favorites? It is a really good powder. It's a really good find. I love these Hourglass ones. This is diffused light. It has a little bit of a yellow tint to it, so it's really good for setting your under eyes. I have a couple of like specific under eye setters right here, 3 of them. And then this is just an Hourglass palette, so it has 3 different Hourglass ambient powders in there. I also had, in fact, I think I forgot to pull it out. Yes, here it is. This is where is it? It's not on the back anymore. I think it was Dim Light. I don't know. Oh no, this is different. This is the Infinity powder. Okay, I have a couple. Hold on a sec. I actually forgot about this Infinity powder, you guys. I think because I have this, I definitely do not need to keep this, the loose powder. They're not the same. They're not one and the same, but I'm gonna get rid of the loose one. I can't put into words why it makes sense in my brain, but I'm gonna keep this because this was expensive and it's fairly new. I do typically use it more as like either an under eye setter or kind of like a highlighting powder, although you can use it all over your face. It just depends on, you know, how luminous you wanna look for the day. So I'm gonna keep that. And then this is really old. I tried to pan this one a couple years ago. Couple years in a row. Come on, Melissa, speak. And it's like the never-ending powder, you guys. It never goes away. It's Dim Light. It's really old at this point, so I probably should go ahead and get rid of it. But I love Hourglass powders, especially the pressed ones, and this one works really good for all over your face. So I'm probably just gonna go ahead and hang on to it and try to get rid of it again. I know that sounds silly, and this is a bronzer. So, okay, well, I did get rid of some here, just not as many as I thought I was going to. I'm okay with keeping a lot of pressed. I think it makes sense for me to keep my pressed powders. It's the loose that I'm like, So I'm keeping 5 loose powders. That's not horrible. And then 1, 2, 3, 9 pressed powders. And then I'm getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 8. So I'm getting rid of about a third-ish of them. So not horrible. I kind of wish I had the guts to declutter a little bit more right now, but I'm not going to force myself. You know, I don't want to get rid of things just to get rid of things. So yeah, that is the end of my powder declutter. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Stay tuned for the next round, which will probably be like primers or something like that. And I'll talk to you next time.